Coming up on Fulton Today, what the fight to end HIV and AIDS in the county and a $9 million federal grant may have to do with you. We'll have details.
I'm Brian Robinson, and I'll share why the development of the county's community development plan and fair housing study cannot proceed without public input.
And Fulton leaders share their vision for expanding the county's airport. That and much more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Fulton residents express concerns about the increasing need for affordable housing in the county, and now an official community development plan and fair housing study is underway. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now with more on how the public will once again be a part of this process. Brian?
Now, Shania, that study cannot be completed without the help of public input. That's why representatives from the Department of Community Development are hosting a series of public meetings to address those needs. Now, I've asked Division Manager Don Butler to join me to explain why public input is so vital in this situation. Ms. Butler, thank you for joining us on Fulton Today.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Don, it's our pleasure. Now, if you wouldn't mind, please explain the details of the consolidated plan, which includes the community development plan and the fair housing study.
The Consolidated Plan project is Fulton County's opportunity to work with the community to determine the community's priorities around affordable housing and fair housing impediments. Also, the process of developing the Consolidated Plan provides us with an opportunity to look at those community issues or challenges that impact affordable housing, such as transportation, infrastructure needs for the senior citizens, and also public service needs.
And I understand it's a 5-year plan?
Yes, it's a 5-year plan that is mandated by HUD. We are coming to the end of our 2014-2019 plan, which will end on December 31st this year. We're currently working on the 2020-24 plan, and we are looking for input from the community along with the different departments within Fulton County.
Now, what kind of input are you seeking from residents?
We are looking for input from residents based on what are their priorities, what do they see in the community that may be missing that Fulton County can provide through HUD funding of the CDBG, ESG, and home grants, and or through the infusion of general funds to support the initiatives that are identified through the Consolidated Plan.
And why is it important to seek that input from residents?
It's critically important to receive input from Fulton County residents because the residents direct the plan. The plan for this Consolidated Plan's purpose is to help mediate some of the community issues around affordable housing, around fair housing, around homelessness. And in order for us to create a comprehensive plan to try to mitigate some of the challenges that are in the community, it's absolutely critical that we hear from the community.
Don Butler from the Department of Community Development, thank you again for joining us on Fulton Today.
Thanks again for having me.
Thank you very much, Brian. Meanwhile, the Fulton County Board, charged with hearing appeals of property tax matters, is looking for new board members. Here are the details. In order to serve on the Board of Equalization, you must be a property tax owner, at least 18 years old, complete 40 hours of training, be eligible to serve as a grand juror, and not be or serve at the pleasure of an elected official.
Fulton County Board of Equalization members serve an integral part in the taxation and valuation process. Without them, we couldn't have the resources that we have to support county operations. We need you. If you have a heart of service, we'd love to have you.
Chosen candidates will serve a 3-year term and may be reappointed by a grand jury for an additional term in office. Board members earn a rate of $100 a day. You can visit fultonclerk.org to apply. The Department of HIV Elimination is in the midst of a community input process for an upcoming grant application for approximately $9 million in potential federal funding. So who should apply? Jeff Cheek is the director of the Department of HIV Elimination. Sir, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Thanks, Shania. It's great to be with you.
All right, so tell us all of the basics about this grant.
Well, recently we talked about how Fulton County is expanding its efforts to eliminate HIV. And one of the things that's helping to support us in this process is some additional money from the federal government. Starting next year, we're getting a grant of about $9 million to help initiate new programs, new services, and new ways of stopping the spread of HIV in Atlanta. Well, the grant is to serve people living with HIV disease, to get people into care, get them on treatment, and get them virally suppressed. And what that means is the amount of virus is so low in their body that they can't spread the disease. So what we're trying to do is eliminate new cases of HIV by 75% over the next 5 years. What we're asking everyone in Fulton County to do is to respond to our survey and let us know how you think these dollars should be spent. What is the best use of these dollars?
And Jeff, how should someone go about taking part in that survey?
Well, to access the survey, you can go to our website, ryanwhiteatl.org, and there's a link to the survey. There's only 4 questions. It should only take a couple of minutes, but we really would be able to use the information that you provide us in directing how these services are going to go over the next 5 years.
And Jeff, wrap it up for us.
The best way that we can serve people is to know what it is that the needs are and to hear from people who are living with HIV disease and people who care for people who are living with HIV disease on how we can best serve them. And so you really are playing a pivotal role in deciding how these dollars are going to be used and how we can best serve our residents.
Jeff Cheek, always great information. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Shania. It was my pleasure.
Fulton's airport will see some new changes in the near future. County leaders have unveiled an airport vision study for the Fulton County Airport brownfield. The vision study is the first step of what eventually will be a $90 million investment. Plans include enhancing taxiways, lengthening runways, additional hangars, and state-of-the-art fire and rescue operations.
It's important to note that the study is just the very beginning. There's going to be a lot of additional review work, but more importantly, public involvement and interaction as we start unveiling the master plan process. So even though the visioning study portion of the entire process is now done, the master planning process is going to take over. You're going to see a lot more discussion and chances for people to input their thoughts into our projects.
Fulton officials must also submit a master plan for approval by the Georgia Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration. Just 6 miles west of the downtown Atlanta area, the airport is one of the busiest Class B airports in the region. Well, the future of Fulton leadership is quite bright. This group of employees was honored at the Georgia Aquarium for completing the UGA Partnership Course for Executive Leadership. They are the second class to do so. Now, this program and the county's certified public managers for mid-level managers allows county management to examine its current workforce to see who is next in line to move up in senior management.
We always have to have like a sports mentality of having a bench in place in the event that any one of our executives decides to move on to something better for their career. And this program allows us to quickly look back into our current workforce and see who has completed the executive leadership program and who is the next in line to move up into senior management within the organization.
This certified public manager and executive leadership program is available to county employees wanting to advance their careers. Congratulations to them. And still to come on Fulton Today, a former Atlanta Falcons player helps to make miracles at a county senior facility. It's a part of our district by district coverage next. Fulton makes an international statement on the topic of HIV and AIDS, and the Miracle League and a former Falcons player leave a lasting impression at one senior facility. Here's this week's district by district coverage. We begin with Chairman Rob Pitts, who takes the international stage with stakeholders in the fight against AIDS at the Fast Track Cities 2019 conference in London. This is the first international gathering of more than 300 cities whose leaders are accelerating their responses to HIV, tuberculosis, and viral hepatitis, 3 diseases cited as urban health priorities.
The reason it was important for me to be there representing Fulton County, the state of Georgia, and even the city of Atlanta, because we continue to be, unfortunately, a hotbed for HIV/AIDS. In spite of all the progress that we're making here, in spite of all the medical advances with respect to treatment, we still have a huge problem here, as do other places around the world. But this was a meeting that brought together leaders to talk about new initiatives, things that are working, things that are not working, and planning for the future.
Organized by the International Association of Providers of AIDS Care in collaboration with the Joint United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS and other partners, the conference's aim was to highlight successes achieved across the Fast Track Cities network. District 2 Commissioner Bob Ellis visits the Benson Senior Center for an afternoon in the garden unlike many others. The commissioner joined forces with the board members of the North Metro Miracle League to announce a partnership with the county's Senior Services Department. The collaboration allows seniors in the senior daycare program and young people with physical challenges in the Miracle League to maintain a garden at the center.
The cool thing about this really is that we've got the North Metro Miracle League, who's actually been a partner with Fulton County for a good number of years. They've been the recipient of some of our CSP funds, and they run a great program out of Alpharetta. And then to have them have the opportunity to give back and plow in, and so to speak, in terms of putting together these gardens and these beds here at Benson is just a fantastic thing.
Former Atlanta Falcons player Mike Haynes is lending his support as well.
The garden started with the Growing Together initiative, and it all started because we try to make sure our kids get included in everything that they do. You know, most of the time, special needs kids, they don't get the opportunity to participate in a lot of stuff that their able-bodied brothers and sisters do. So we wanted to make sure that they get included, and that's basically how Miracle League kind of started. They wanted to make sure they include those kids. And then the Growing Together initiative is just one of those other opportunities for us to make sure that everybody gets involved.
The Miracle League is an organization that provides sports programs for children with disabilities and has expanded into so much more in recent years. Fulton's senior adult daycare program is designed to serve residents with cognitive challenges. District 4 Commissioner Natalie Hall celebrates with KIPP Academy on their mission to expand.
They are going to have the most beautiful new KIPP Academy right there in the same location as the old Woodson Elementary and Grove Park Intermediate School. These kids will return to a brand new location and have an outstanding education.
KIPP Public Charter Schools are a nonprofit network of college preparatory schools educating early childhood, elementary, middle, and high school students. And finally, District 6 residents head back to the polls in the special election runoff. Voters are deciding in the Fulton County District 6 Commission seat race and the District 2 School Board race. You can get all of your voting details at fultonelections.com. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with a rebroadcast of the commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And coming up next on Fulton Today, helping seniors prepare and plan for the unexpected. Stay with us. As we continue to highlight September as National Preparedness Month, we want to turn our attention now to how important it is for our seniors to make sure that they too have a plan for the unexpected. Ladisa Onilagu is the director of Fulton Senior Services Department. Ladisa, welcome back.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
So let's tell our seniors why it's important for them to be prepared in the event of a natural disaster.
A disaster can come in any shape or size, whether it's a health emergency, an environmental disaster, or even a weather-related power outage that could extend for a long time. It's important for senior residents to be prepared, and that's why this month's observance is so important.
And can you share some of the benefits of senior residents having this disaster readiness plan already in place?
I think one of the greatest benefits is that a senior can maintain a level of control in a potentially chaotic situation. This month's theme is Prepared, Not Scared. So another benefit for seniors is that they have an opportunity to prepare and plan and conduct their own drills in the event of any type of disaster that they may experience.
And let's not forget about the pets. How important is it to have a plan for them as well?
It is very important. I encourage seniors to prepare an emergency kit for their pets. Make sure that your little companions have collars or tags, and if possible, identify a pet-friendly place just in case an emergency or a disaster does occur.
Can you speak to some of the programs and services that your department already may have to support disaster readiness for seniors?
One example is our regular home delivered meals service. We provide shelf-stable meals throughout the year for seniors so that they can maintain meals just in case a disaster occurs and a volunteer is not able to deliver that nutritious meal to them.
And close it out, Ladisa.
I would encourage senior residents, community members, businesses to find ways or help others understand more about the importance of preparing for a disaster and possibly reducing risk to their health or the environment.
Once again, Ladisa, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the U.S. government has a website all about emergency preparedness. Take time to check it out. And Fulton employees are encouraged to eat better by cooking better meals. Healthcare provider Kaiser Permanente sponsored this chef to come and prepare an easy, healthy food option at the Fulton County Government Center.
We are doing a vegetarian, low-calorie, low-sodium, healthy vegetarian dish today called curry cauliflower, which gives a really great alternative to meat dishes, but it really doesn't take away from flavor.
Nutritionists cite bad eating habits as one of the main causes of weight gain and medical issues. The cooking demo was aimed at changing employees' food habits.
I learned a vegetarian dish tastes just as good as a meat dish. And different seasonings you can use. As far as the curry seasoning, I found something different to use it for, and it balanced out for a full meal.
I think this is great. You can come on your lunch break and learn some new techniques in your kitchen that you can use later on that day. It's free information, and you get to taste it. That was the best part.
Fulton's leadership offers programs for the workforce to keep them healthy. They believe the less they have to spend on health benefits for employees, the more they can allocate to programs and services for county residents. And up next on Fulton Today, exercising young minds physically and mentally. Stay with us. Well, Fulton's library staffers are giving patrons a physical and a mental workout. These young boys and girls took part in the international initiative called Let's Move in Libraries. The program was inspired by Michelle Obama's Let's Move initiative, and it encourages children to not only read but also stay active. The class is organized by staffers from the Central and Roswell libraries, while their respective branches are closed for renovations.
This is a part of our charge while our branches are closed to go out to the community and ensure that their health life is enhanced by the services that we provide.
We want to start them at a young age so that they can keep moving from years to come, just to make sure that each child is healthy and moving along.
Now, of course, the Let's Move in Libraries program is just one of the many programs offered by Fulton County Library. To learn more, you can log on to afpls.org. And finally, check out how some inmates at the Union City Jail are getting in their share of exercise by playing some basketball. This game between the West Side Blazers from the A Pod and the Dazzling Dynamites from the F Pod took place inside the gymnasium at the South Annex. This basketball game is an in-house competition for those inmates who display good behavior. Inmates play, coach, referee, and even serve, of course, as cheerleaders. The idea was the brainchild of a sheriff's deputy to provide incentive for good behavior.
Officer Cooley came up with an idea because during rec time, we only had one ball and it was literally flat. So we would pump the balls up and we saw them getting together, making a team, and coming up with playing one another. First it was just 2-on-2, then it went to 4-on-4, then I saw outside that they had a full game. So we came up with, okay, they're liking to play basketball, so let's get that together, and that's what we did.
Prior to the game, a patient receiving mental health treatment sang the national anthem, something everyone considered a great triumph. The game was competitive, but in the end, the grand prize was everyone's desire to simply just exhibit good behavior and, of course, just have a whole bunch of fun. Man, those ladies can play. And before we go, our reminder that FGTV wants to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. And you can watch a replay of this show and any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe. And that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.